Hey, this is 13.4 Permutations B, and in this lesson, we're going to figure out what to do if we have a permutation. So we're arranging something in the order matters, but some of the items that we're arranging have repeats. And I think the easiest way to look at that is with words and letters, where we have situations where letters might repeat. So we're going to start off with just a little exploration here. We have the words cat and mom. And we're going to figure out how many different ways that we can arrange the letters in each of those words. So you think about it, you kind of maybe do this ahead of me so that you are doing the thinking, but then I will go through it and just make sure that we all ended up in the same place. So it says, what are the differences between the letters in the two words? And then which word has more unique or different arrangements? Okay, so looking at the word cat, I can see that there are three different letters. C-A-T, they're all different letters. So different letters, or in other words, there are no repeats. In the word mom, there are two M's. Okay, so there are repeats. So if we wanted to know which word has more arrangements, we could either list them all, which that won't take long. If we wanted to list all the different arrangements of CAT, well, CAT is one of them, or CTA would be another, or ACT, ATC, or TCA, TAC. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different arrangements. Or we could just do n factorial. That would have worked. So there were 3 different letters. So 3 factorial, which is 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6 possible arrangements. Same answer. Maybe a little bit faster to do it that way if we didn't, want to have to list them all. Okay, for the word mom though, what happens if we list our outcomes for mom? M-O-M. Or we could flip-flop the second 2 letters, so M-M-O. And then we're kind of stuck with M as the first letter. So we can go on to O. We could do O-M-M, or we could flip-flop the last 2 letters, but then we still have O-M-M. And that's it. There's nothing else that we can do. There's only 3 possible outcomes. So now the question becomes, what happened there? Or how do we mathematically do this? What if we had 100 letters that we needed to arrange, and obviously there's going to be a whole bunch of repeats? What do we do in that situation? Okay, well, I think being the smart mathematicians that we are, we can maybe get an idea, like how do you get from 6 to 3? Or what do 6, 2, and 3 have to do with each other? So maybe it's this. Maybe you just divide it by 2. Maybe you divide by the number of repeats. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to do it. Well, I do, and I'm going to tell you in just a second. All right, so let's first talk about what we did if we were arranging letters and there were no repeats. If there were no repeats, we can just do n factorial. Just take the number of letters and multiply by each number less than what we started with. So for example, we could just do 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 if we had a 4-letter word. Okay, but what if there's repeats? Well, we kind of already decided that we have to divide out those repeats. But how? Okay, here's how. I'm going to say x factorial, y factorial, z factorial. This is kind of just an example. And then we're going to remind ourselves what that means. X, y, and z are repeats. And more specifically, number of repeats. Okay, so for example, if we had a 4-letter word that had 3 letters that repeat, this might not even be a word. Let's just go with L-A-L-L, the word lol. All right, to do that one, we would do 4 factorial because there are 4 numbers total. And then we would count the numbers or the letters that repeat. So there's 3 L's. So we would need to divide by 3 factorial. So we would have 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 3 times 2 times 1, or altogether, just 4 possible ways to arrange those letters. Okay, so let's dive into a couple examples. I don't think we'll have to do all of these, but we'll do a couple here. So the word family, how many ways can we arrange the word family? This is how I will organize myself when I do these problems. I will count the total letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n is equal to 6. Then I'm going to look for any repeats. F-A-M-I-L-Y. None of those letters repeat. So no repeats in this one. Okay, so the answer is just going to be 6 factorial. We could do it by hand. We could do 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Or I would get in the habit of grabbing a calculator. Make this a little faster for yourself. And just type in 6 factorial. And we get 720. So there would be 720 ways to arrange the letters in the word family. That's a lot. But there are 6 letters and none of them repeat. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Okay, let's go down to algebra. Okay, so we have A-L-G-E-B-R-A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total letters. So n is 7. Okay, now we're going to look for any repeats. So it looks like the letter A comes up twice. So I would just do this. A equals 2. And are there any other that repeat? L-G-E-B-R. Nope, none of the other ones repeat. So we'll just do 7 factorial over 2 factorial. And we can grab a calculator and just punch that in. Hit the fraction key, and then 7 probability factorial over 2. 2 factorial is just 2, so I'm not even going to waste my time finding the factorial button. I'll just do this. And 2,520. All right, let's just do, I think we can get away with just doing the one more here. And then I'll leave the rest of this. If you want to do some more practice, you can go ahead and do it, but I'm going to end the video after we do football here. So football, F-O-O-T-B-A-L-L, N equals 8. 8 letters total. Okay, now list the repeats. The letter O happens 2 times, and the letter L, I'm going to make a cursive L so that it doesn't look like a 1, it happens 2 times. Okay, so now we're going to do 8 factorial over, we need both O and L. So we need 2 factorial, 2 factorial. We need both of them. So you can see before I used the examples of X, Y, and Z. I used X, Y, and Z. We have different letters for each of these situations. So in our example here, we have 2 O's and 2 L's. So we need both of them factorial wise. So once again, I'll grab the calculator, set up a fraction, 8 probability factorial over 2 factorial is just 2 times another 2. Or maybe you just knew that was 4 and you could go right to that. 10,080. All right, so once again, if you want to go ahead and keep going with these, and if you want to check any of them with me, go for it. You could do E, F, and G. But if you are ready to just go ahead and go on to the practice, that would be just fine by me.